Right, good afternoon. Welcome back to VP4TV. We're here this afternoon for a one-loss side in the virtual Bank Pool World Championships that's currently running in VP4 online. And this one-loss side match we have today is set up between Bankster, representing Kuwait, and what's his name? I've totally forgotten his name already. Acero from Japan. That's a bad start. And there's not a lot left in this tournament. We've got this match in the bracket here, and there already is a player waiting on the winner of this match, and it's Bedhead from Sweden. And interestingly enough, at the bottom of the draw, we've also got Albinario from Sweden. Two big hitters on that one-loss side. Now, there could be a problem on the winner's side. There's certainly not a problem for One Pocket Slim because he's done well sending Bedhead to that one-loss side. Slim is through to the hot seat match to see who gets to the final, and he's waiting on an opponent. Now, the problem with that is that Real Poland Power, Stubb, and Coldest Pillow have been set up to play. Now, according to Steve, there's been a fair bit of communication sent from Stubb in terms of trying to arrange this match. Now, the deadline is tomorrow for this match, but to our knowledge, there's been very little or no response from Coldest Pillow, who hasn't been around VP4 for 2 or 3 days. So unless he's away visiting somebody or whatever, this match might not go ahead, in which case Stubb will be advanced to play One Pocket Slim in that hot seat match. That remains to be seen. So in the meantime, Chiku arrived in the lobby a little while ago, and Bankster, as is his habit, tends to show up at the last minute. At least that is what we're hoping for. But there is no sign at the moment. There is about 5 minutes still to go for Bankster to arrive. Now, unless he sneaked in the back door and I haven't seen him, but no, he certainly hasn't. Now, this tournament is scheduled to finish. The deadline date for the final is the 1st of January 2026. That is also the day that the 10-ball Virtual World Championships is due to start as well. And having a quick look at the list of players there, well, there are still 12 open seats. It's a 32-field maximum that's available. So there's still spots available, and these are a list of the players that are all in so far. Many of them are regulars to these events. In the last couple of days, I think MC Clarkey looks as if he wants to make his comeback to VP4. He's been taking a bit of a sabbatical for a couple of months. So he's got himself in. Interchange X is there. One finalist for this event a few years ago who beat Stubb in the final. That is Vince says he's making no signals that he's intended to play in this event either this time. So that might have been a one-off when he played in that 10-ball tournament. I think it was 2017, was it? I can't remember how far back it is now, but there was a bit of a crazy finish to that final. He was 3 racks down with 4 to play and stole the tournament from Stubb. That was Stubb's best chance of winning one of these Virtual World Championships. And Bankster has arrived. Now, this also might be Stubb's best chance of winning one of these tournaments, having gone all the way to that possible hot seat match. It's still not a definite, but I think having seen Stubb playing in the tournament, he does have a very strong chance of winning this. It's just going to be how it works out on the day. Now, Bankster has arrived, and now he's arrived again. So I don't know whether he was having some sort of issue. But it does say that he has arrived, and he is listed in the players there on the right-hand side. So remember, the one-loss side is a very short race to 4. Now, last night on that bracket, in fact, that's the wrong thing I'm on. Hang on a minute. I'm back onto the 10-ball tournament. We had the one-loss side match last night with Cobra trying to get revenge on Albinario for his defeat in the 8-ball World Championships at the weekend. But unfortunately for Cobra, he couldn't hit the ground running. And it was Albinario who, in the end, comfortably won that match by 4 racks to 1. So Cobra is now out of the tournament, and that's why Albinario lies in wait for the loser to come through, or the one that gets forfeited to be coming through, depending on how it goes. At the moment, it's looking more than likely it's going to be a forfeit, but that'll take care of itself. We're more interested in what's going to happen here this afternoon. The favourite I would suggest would be acero. He certainly looks the stronger player in the banks than Bankster, but you know, Bankster's maybe had a couple of dodgy matches, but now's his chance to shine by taking down acero. So the room is up. We're not going to hang about. We're going to get in, and we will have the lag for the break. Remember, bank pool in this tournament is the short rack of 9 balls, and 5 balls or 5 banks or 5 points will give you the rack. So Bankster is in. And we wait on acero to come in. And as soon as he does, we will be underway. Now, again, I'm guessing that with a 2 p.m. in the afternoon start time, that is GMT, that's my time. I'm guessing that, again, this is all hinging on whether Bankster originally actually lives in Kuwait, but if he does, he's at least 3 hours in front of us, I would think. And then we have acero, who I would think is about 8 hours in front. So it's sort of well into the evening time, acero's time, assuming that he still lives in Japan. But it's actually probably a more reasonable time for him, because some of his times for matches have been at really weird times, very early hours in the morning sometime. So this might be bad news for Bankster, in the sense that acero might be fully switched on still at this time of night for him. The strange thing is, acero doesn't seem to be in that much of a hurry to get into the room now. Let's have a quick... that's not what I want. A quick tab to the lobby. Now, has acero disappeared? Let's leave the room. I don't see acero in the lobby. In fact, did I say acero had arrived? Bankster's arrived. I was convinced I saw acero arriving. Maybe it was my imagination. Ah, yes, he's in the lobby. He's in the... There he is. He's went into the room now. Right, we've made it in time. I was panicking there thinking he disappeared. So we have Bankster on the right of the screen. It looks like to me. And Bankster winning the lag. So off he goes. And we've had a ball in the break, which will remain down until the end of the visit. But at first glance, there doesn't look to be a great deal on. I think the 2-ball looks very good. The 2-ball looks very good up and down. Bankster fancied the 7-ball into the side. I think the 2-ball, again, I'm casting my unexpert eye on Banks. Don't ever rely on anything I say about Banks, but to me, that 2-ball looked a lot more comfortable. This 1-ball is very tight. Yeah, I don't think that was ever on. I think that was a bit ambitious. So now the table is wide open. There is a cut across up and down on that 8-ball. There definitely is. Plenty of room past the 4-ball for that to go in. But the problem with that shot is that you may well be giving up quite a few banks in return if you don't nail it. And Bankster has pulled one off. In goes the 4-ball. But I think he's got the 5-ball as an option into the side. And that's going to be a missed call. He was never calling that as a double bank. And unfortunately for Acero, the cue ball sitting on top of the 9-ball, so he's not left with anything that he can cue at comfortably. Again, the crossover on the 8-ball is available, but again, it's really hampered. He's looking at the up and down, I think, or the cut across, is it, on this 5-ball? Yeah, he hasn't hit it. Oh, he's given it up. The ball in hand now. This could be costly. If only the fact that, well, I say could be because that 5-ball is now effectively a blocker for that pocket. So now we have the ball in hand in the kitchen for the cutback in this 8-ball. And this should be a gimme for Bankster. And of course, also, Acero has lost a point with a scratch. So he's now on -1. So he's got to get that ball back and get himself back on an even keel here. But Bankster is in good shape to build up a lead here. Really put the pressure on Acero, but he's missed the crossover. And now we've got a proper mess. There is the 2-ball and the cutback on the 7 that looks fairly tight. Yeah, it was too tight to the rail, so you got the double kiss. And the 5-ball going in, it comes back up in the spot. This 2-ball looks completely dead. Unmissable, as Steve would say. Well, you don't have an awful lot of time to warm up in this one loss side, Acero. And you might want to think about it because Bankster almost on the hill in the rack. He's got a healthy lead at the moment. That can change very rapidly depending on where this cue ball finish. Also, obviously, depending on this cluster here, which is really not very good. So, one thing that does is start splitting these balls accidentally. He only needs the 2 balls to win the rack. So Bankster really needs to be careful that he doesn't go for something where this cue ball's going to run loose, and this is another setup for him. And he's really got to make the most of this. And watch the cue ball also. Well, he's tried to bring it back. I don't know that he's brought it back far enough. If he'd got it to sort of here, he might have had a possible bank. Is he calling the 3-ball cut across into the side, into the corner, I think? That looks on. Well, he's done the fatal mistake there. He's opened up those balls, and that was a risk he didn't really want to take. Now, I'll tell you something, if he loses this rack because of that, then he'll regret it even more. He did not want to touch them. And Acero gets himself back to 0. There's a cut across. And of course, Acero's in the same problem because he has to be going for the shots to get back into this rack and try and at least survive. Where's the cue ball going? Well, it could well be it for this first rack, because that 9-ball will bank. The 5 balls out the kitchen, it will bank, and this should be 1-0 to Bankster. And it's gone in. So, a bit of a shock start here. Bankster eventually got the advantage, although he did do a risky shot, but he got away with it. Acero's break has given him a ball, but the way these balls are all lying, there's nothing really obviously a bank. The 5-ball blocks the 3-ball up and down. There's a crossover in this 4, and I think that's about it at the moment. And that's sweet. Very sweet. And also where the cue balls landed, the 6-ball certainly on. Now, if the cue ball stays up that end of the table, this rack could be over very quickly. If he had got the 6, that is. Well, there's an 8-ball up and down. I don't think he wants to be taking the 1-ball. I mean, the 1-ball is off the rail. It could be cut back across, but the 8-ball looks favourite. And it goes. 6-ball and cut back on the 1-ball are available. Neither of them are guaranteed certainties. No, double kiss. Now, what's he left here? 6-ball into the corner, possibly. That's 6-ball. Well, 2-ball is a blocker on that right rail. You've got a 1-ball, a 9-ball, a 3-ball, all waiting to be banked up and down the table. There's a crossover here on the 5 and a bank on the 7 sitting here for Bankster. Now again, if he gets this cue ball good, he could give himself a chance on the 6-ball. Well, he left the cue ball for the bank on the 6. That'll be the missed call. It'll come up onto the spot. Now, he's left a chasm here for this 6-ball to go in for Acero. And now, well, yes, the 7-ball will bank. The 5-ball will also bank. I mean, that'll push the 9-ball will bank as well, up and down, if you cut across it. But to me, the 7-ball's by far the easier bank. It's one I would feel a lot more comfortable with, and he's played that perfectly. Ran into the 5-ball, though. But that takes him on to 3. And again, as long as that 2-ball is there, it blocks that pocket, but the 2-ball can be banked into this corner. I think he got a sort of double kiss there. There's a sort of flavour of a double kiss in that one as well. So now it's Acero who's favourite at the moment to square this match up. Where's he going? 3 rails, is he? He's trying to cut that 2 rails into the side. Cock hat double, as we say in snooker. Yeah, that was a double kiss as well. And this 5-ball may be a gift, more than just a gift. This is almost a gimme. This 5-ball up and down to put Acero in the brink of squaring this mat. That's going too straight. It didn't open up. Oh, and look what Acero's left, bankster. And suddenly this rack could turn on its head. But he's got to think about the cue ball. I mean, the 2-ball's sitting there waiting to be banked back up the other way. So that's one thing he can guarantee himself. But again, he's not picked a line. I mean, that was not the most difficult bank you're ever going to attempt. Talk about blowing hot and cold. You'd expect Bankster to have nailed that. And this time Acero capitalises on it. Where's the cue ball going though? Well, the 2-ball is definitely a cutback bank. The 3-ball's definitely an up and down. This for 1 each. An overall rack score. And again, fully expect them to get this. And that's in every day of the week. So, very quickly, after 16 minutes, we're at 1 rack apiece in this race to 4. One ball has gone in, but not exactly a pretty table. Yes, the 2-ball definitely across, but that's way out of line. So the game will call that an illegal bank. Or an illegal shot, that is. 8-ball cross side. Again, it looks fairly dead. And it goes. And the 5-ball is definitely dead as well. I mean, you pretty much unmissable the 5-ball like this. You don't need to slam it. You just need to get the nice little line and it will go in. Now, we do have a possibility of a 7-ball up and down. It's tight past the 9, but I'm pretty certain it's on. Cue ball had to get out of the way, and there wasn't enough room. And again, another cut across bank on the 3. And that's gone wide of the mark. You know, in a good day, those will go in, but today, not so far with that shot there for Bankster. He's 2-0 behind in this rack. And these balls are actually sitting pretty good. It's only the cue ball that's not sitting great. But one wrong roll of the ball, and you could give up a whole heap here. Well, I presume that's what he called, the 3-railer. And like I said, one wrong roll of the ball. I mean, that's really being aggressive. And look what is possibly left here. There's room for the 6 ball into the side. There's a slight cut back in that 9 ball up and down into this corner. And there's a cut across in the 7. And that's blasted in, but what's he left? And my thoughts are not a great deal. There might be the 9 ball into the corner. I think that's what he's looking at. And very close. Now, banks like this 3 ball, these are where you have to pick the line for the bank. And this is the whole sort of mastery of banks, is picking that line and getting that object ball to follow that line. And that's not quite for acero. Again, the cue ball has not finished perfect, but the 7 ball again looks dead into the side pocket. Yeah, and that little rub on the 9 ball, I think, has killed it, stone dead in the rail. Pretty much so. So that's out of the equation as far as banking goes. But we're now even Stevens all round. 1 rack apiece, 2 balls or 2 banks apiece until that one went in. And I'm fairly certain this 9 ball would be very difficult to bank. It's pretty much nailed to the rail. Attempt on the cut across, but I think that's now sitting perfect for acero, is it? Well, you're going to have to cut it slightly, but it still looks pretty good. And again, he's got a cut up and down in the 2. Whichever he's going to feel more comfortable with. He's got certainly plenty of room to get the cue ball out of the way. No doubt about that. Test and see if this chat's working. I'm not seeing any chat. If anybody's actually sent anything. It's working.
Suspected spam.
I've got a suspected spam phone call, which I'm just ignoring. So bankster with a slim lead at the moment. And, well, a crossover. Either or these are not gimmies, because, again, you have to imagine that line that the object ball is going to take, and you're having to create that line. Now, he's going to have to hit this a fair bit to get it in, to hold the line, I think. Well, maybe not. It was a much better idea than me. I thought he'd had to hit that harder. Close, but no cigar. But a dead ball in a pocket now. Now, of course, you don't want to get crazy here and start running this cue ball, because this cue ball comes down to this end of the table. You're leaving 2 banks on. That was really ambitious. Now we need to have a look. Well, there's the bank on in the 3 ball. The other 2 obviously aren't going to count, especially the 2 ball. It's out the game, and the 4 ball's in the kitchen. That 9 ball is off the rail and could definitely be banked. So the punishment is usually severe for a scratch in this bank pool tournament. You could be giving up 2 or 3 balls. That's gone to the rail too soon. And that always sort of feels, I think, like an opportunity missed when you've got ball in hand in the kitchen. doesn't help having 3 balls in awkward places in the kitchen either, pretty much. So now we've got 2 dead balls. They're both out of play. That may well be a missed call. Yeah, it's double banked. So that's going to come up into the stack behind the 5 ball. Once again, bankster decides to put the 4 ball into the stack as well. This is going 2 rails, I think. Not easy. Well, that 9 ball again looks a very good line into this corner pocket here. Almost dead, but not quite. And there's a crossover available on the 4 ball. None of the other balls will bank the way they're sitting at the moment, but the 4 ball certainly will. And the 9 ball looks as if it's going to come up. Not quite either. So now we've got 2 dead balls. And bear in mind, bankster's sitting on 3. Does he really want to start? I mean, he doesn't really have much of an option when you think about it. Leave those 2 balls there and bring the 2 ball up into the stack. And that's perfectly safe because there's no bank on anywhere here. The one you'd attempt would be the 2 ball if you could see enough of it, but then that's blocked by those 2 balls. So it's certainly not in acero's favour the way these balls are sitting. And it's probably all going to end up with bankster potting this 8 ball, I think it is, or sorry, 4 ball, and bringing the cue ball back down into the kitchen. Or into a line like that, where you're leaving absolutely nothing. So now it's acero who's either just going to bump this stack to the rail and leave the cue ball on top of the 5. Now getting the ball like that with the cue ball nailed onto the 5, we're going to get a bit of tip tapping here unless bankster does something really silly. And you've also got to watch your balls that you've scored here because you start making fouls, you start losing points in this game, remember? Well, he may well have given up a shot here, but again, it's a risky shot because this cue ball wants to break these balls up. So you've got to be thinking about cue ball and trying to avoid hitting this stack, which he's managed to do. And I don't think anything's on here. That 9 ball's it's too thin. It looks like that to me. Oh, well, that cue ball caught the knuckle there. It could have easily ran into those balls, and he might be getting away with this. I think he is. I think it's too thin this side here also for bankster, for the look of it. And he doesn't want to do something crazy. And that's well done. Or is it? Is there enough of that 2 ball to work this time? And I don't think so. So we're getting a fair wee bit of tactics coming in here. Now that's giving up the 9 ball for bankster. I don't know what acero was thinking there. I have no idea. He's given up ball in hand in the kitchen and an easy 9 ball. And that gets bankster 1 away from tying this, sealing this third rack. But what has he done here? Now, did he call that corner pocket there for a double bank? Is there enough room? No, he's going 3 rails. What damage has he done here? This could be the big sellout. 2 ball looks on. Again, you've got to make the line, though. It's not dead. You've got to pick that line off that short rail. It looks his best bet at the moment, though. But this to seal this rack. And not quite. That's a missed call. And what's he going to give up here? Now, that yeah, I was worried there that acero didn't realise that, but acero knows that it's strange the way Steve's got this set up, that if you do what happened there and get a missed call, it actually ends the rack, but it's actually the opposing player that has to call the missed call. You can't call it, which is a bit weird. Anyway, back to business. It's 4-1 to bankster. Now goes to 4-2. And you would think if acero could just nail this 4 ball and get this cue ball up the table, it could be out here. I mean, he needs the 3 balls to pinch this rack. Oh, he's got the double hit. He couldn't get the cue ball out of the way quick enough, and this is probably sold out. It's probably gone. Take your pick. The 2 ball or the 3 ball, which is a slight cutback. But that's opened up way too soon. Again, there's nothing here that you would hand over to acero as easy. I mean, he's got to play the cutback in this as well. And that's going to go in. Now, what's he got as a follow-up? Well, he has a follow-up shot, but again, it's all down to the imagination and picking that line on that short rail. Well, this 3 ball up and down, I think, into this corner. At least that's what it looks like we've played. Well, it had to get there with the pace, but not quite the line. But this should definitely seal the deal in this rack. And that is sweet. Nice pace. And bankster goes into the lead. So after 32 minutes, we're into rack number 4. We have bankster breaking off. Ball has gone in. And, well, I can see 2 possible banks. I can see a bank on the 1 ball into this bottom left-hand corner as we're looking, and also a crossover bank on what seems to be the 8 ball up the other end of the table. But you've got 2 balls that are married up together on this long rail right side there, but I'm sure they're both possible banks as well if the cue ball was up that direction, but that has not been picked out very well there by bankster. That 5 ball looks far too tight onto that knuckle to make the bank, as far as I'm concerned. There might be enough room. There might, but it could catch the point. He's played that really sweet off the excellent. I mean, that could have been played. It looks simple, but it was so close to that knuckle, and it just hit it right in the sweet spot. And another crossover up and down in this 8 ball. And he's managed to miss the double kiss this time. Has it got the legs? Has it got the legs? Is it getting there? No. So it's now dead. Well, it did everything but go in. He played it the right pace to avoid the double kiss with the cue ball. And meanwhile, Bankster is off and running. He ties up the rack at 1 apiece. What else has he got? 4 ball into the side. Can he get enough of the 4 ball? I think he can, but I don't think he can get the cue ball out of the way. I think that's part of the problem with that shot. Nine ball, bottom left corner as we look, and that's gone way wide. Well, what's he left here? The 9 ball just come in as a blocker. He's left absolutely nothing. Acero's not get anything at all here. Not a jot. Just imagine what this tournament would have been like had it been a full rack of bank pool. You know, you'd have 15 balls all lying all over the table. A proper mess it would have been. 9 ball certainly affords a lot more open play, or the short rack as they call it. So a 2 ball into this corner. Now if that 2 ball gets out the way, which it hasn't, there was a crossover there on that 1 ball. I don't know that there's anything on now. Yeah, he's just trying to tuck the cue ball behind there, use them for cover, bring that 8 ball onto the spot. And now when you look at what Bankster's got, he's got a possible crossover or a possible 3-railer on the 3 ball. 2-railer. Well, maybe a 3-railer if he's going into that corner. Yeah, I think he played the 1-railer actually into the corner. He could have possibly played what we call the cock hat double around the 2 rails there and into that side pocket. But look what he's given up. I mean, you know, when you start rolling the cue ball and leaving things loose, you start leaving it as an invitation to your opponent. Well, that 3 ball again, it's all about getting the cue ball out of the way. There's plenty of room to get the cue ball out of the way for this crossover. Just didn't quite hold the line far enough. It's, again, another one that's did everything but actually drop. So that pocket's now dead. And that one, 9 ball ran straight back into the cue ball. So we are working with 3 balls at the moment. Acero can work with these 3 because that's what he needs to win the rack. So he doesn't need to do any disturbing of these balls that are out the game. Obviously, the 3 ball would just come up into the stack. But what he's done there is run the 9 ball and brought the 7 ball into play. And that 7 ball is going to be banked any second now by Bankster into this bottom left-hand corner. That could be a big mistake from acero, but bankster's absolutely nowhere near that. That's gone to the rail before the side pocket. How bad was that played? And he's probably going to get away with it also, where the cue ball's finished. I think he's left nothing. Now, where the hell did he call that? Is he trying to blast that off the rail and back across the 7? I'm not sure what he's doing here. Or is he looking to find a line in this corner? I never saw what pocket he called this into. And I think this is what he's called. He thinks he's got enough room to get it past the 2. Well, the cue ball's gone south, and that, again, could be a big mistake. We're at 1 apiece. And ball in hand for bankster. And how big a mistake is it going to be for acero? He's still got another one available in the 2. And it goes, and he's now, well, now it's a bit more dodgy. He does have the cut back on the 8 ball, and that'll take him to within 1 of getting on the hill in this match, but not quite. Well, it's anybody's guess if there's anything on here. A cut across in the 1 into the opposite corner pocket. There is room. You know, he's trying to go up and down. See, the problem with the up and down is the way these balls are sitting, there's always a possibility of leaving something, although when you look at it in this occasion, you've got a ball that's blocking that pocket the other side, and the 4 ball and the rails are sort of blocker as well, and gives very little room. That 1 ball, I think, would go. He's tried to cross side, but again, when you start, as long as these balls sit where they are, it's reasonably safe with up and down shots. I think there's still plenty of room past that is that the 4 ball or the 2 ball? There's plenty of room past this, you know, to get a ball like that up into that corner pocket. Double bank, but it never. Those never seemed to open up a great deal off that second rail. That just held its line. And there's 2 crossovers available here as far as that. Well, there's actually 3, the 7 up and down, the 8 ball cross side, and the 2 ball up and down. And the double kiss there in the 8 ball has left just the up and down in the 7, I think. Cut across that 7 ball, try and bring it down into this bottom left-hand corner. But you've got to get the cue ball out of the way as well. Oh no, he's tried it cross top. That was almost very well worked out. I wasn't sure there was enough room to do that, but clearly there was. But then again, what do I know about banks? I would never ever sit here and say, yeah, I know exactly how to play this shot. I have no idea with bank shots. Not a clue. I'm just purely an instinctive banker, which basically means I see what looks like the line and I'll have a go at it. But in terms of making the bank, no clue. Oh, what damage has he done here? Well, again, you know, looking at that 4-ball sort of worries you when you're trying to play a bank up and down, but I'm pretty certain there's room to get the bank up and down in that 8-ball fairly comfortably. He's going 7 into the side. And that's nailed that. And that gets acero back to 2. That gets him back all square. Now, well, he's having to cut across this 8-ball because I don't think that's ever going to hold the line. So he's going to have to pick the line to cut that to the rail, get the cue ball out the way. And, well, the 8-ball comes across. It is available for the bank up and down, but the 4-ball's a lot more available for the bank into the side. But that's pushed wide. Well, this rack is wide open with these 2 balls for whoever can nail it. Both of them need the 2 of them. Cut across up and down to the top right. And it's just gone too soon again. And once again, there's the cut across for acero also on this 4-ball. Oh, that's gone anywhere but near a pocket. That just held a straight line and stayed that way. Well, 8-ball into this bottom left-hand corner looks the line. And 3-ball guarding the bank up to that top left-hand corner. So a cut across bank again for bankster. And once again, it's holding a straightish line. I think both of them on the brink of getting to the hill in this rack, but they're just not quite dropping. Now, what's he got here? Up and down. Well, hit it solid enough. Now, where's the 8-ball finishing? Again, this is very tight to try and squeeze that 8-ball across and get that cue ball right out the way. I think there's very little to no room. There's a cut across to blast this 4 into this side pocket. And he's played that very sweet. And the cue ball, if it keeps coming down, well, again, this doesn't look a guaranteed certainty, this 8-ball. But it would give bankster the 3-1 lead if he can get it one way or another. But I don't think it's really on. But what again, I keep saying, what do I know? And clearly it isn't on. Is he going a 2-railer up and down into the other corner pocket? Well, everything's went wrong with that. And this 8-ball coming into the kitchen. No, in fact, it's the other way around. So 2 balls coming up in the spot. Ball in hand for a cut back up and down in the 8-ball. Now, acero could be really aggressive here and try and hold this cue ball or hit something to try and give him the winning bank. Because bankster's now stuck on 3. Acero hasn't broke anything out. There's a very thin edge of the 2-ball showing, and there's not enough shown to be able to bank it, I don't think. But, well, he had a good effort at it, but what's he sold out? Where's the cue ball going? Well, it's all or nothing, really. for bankster. He can cut this across into the side, this 2-ball, but it's opened out wide. I mean, every shot now with just these 2 balls left on the table is a sellout from either player. Obviously, Acero's going to be the favourite to tie the match up here. If he can just nail one of these, just needs one more bank to square the match up. And it's gone wide as well. Well, there's a cut across in the 2-ball into this corner. And again, it is not opened at all. And likewise, this 3-ball, well, this looks a much more of a certainty to me, the 3-ball. He's looking at the 2-ball for a cut. I think either or would do. They don't look all that difficult, and that's sweet as a nut. And that wears the match up at 2 racks apiece. Just a nice soft touch, and that gets the job done. Well, bankster it really could have went either way. Acero is taking a bathroom break. So for any latecomers who joined this match, just to let you know where we are, this is the bracket for this tournament, and this being the one loss side, these 2 players are playing to have a match up with Bedhead. 2 of the stronger players in the tournament have actually ended up in the one loss side, and both of them from Sweden, Bedhead and Albinario. So the winner of this match will play Bedhead, and Albinario is sitting there waiting for a loser to come through between Real Poland Power, Stubb, and Coldest Pillow. No communication from Coldest Pillow. Stubb has been sending proposals for matches, and it may end up in a forfeit and Coldest Pillow going to the one loss side. The deadline is tomorrow night, I think, for this match. We already have One Pocket Slim from the USA. He's already into that hot seat match. So that's where the tournament has got to. And this tournament, deadline date for the final is the 1st of January 2026, which incidentally is when the 10-ball Virtual World Championship starts as well. So we're into rack number 5 in this race to 4, and it's anybody's game. Oh, good afternoon to Yamaguchi Taru. So we have some Japanese support for Acero. What time is it over your part of the world? I'm thinking it's can up to 10 minutes to 11 at night. Well, it's either a long walk to the bathroom or it's a long pee. And that is anybody's guess. And I'll have a quick drink while we're waiting. So there's still room for you to sign up to the 10-ball World Championships, Yama. January the 1st, the tournament bracket goes live. And we are now underway in rack number 5. And Acero's come up dry, and this 4-ball looks dead to me, up and down past the 7. But, well, where the cue ball's finished, he's certainly got a shot in the 7-ball. Now, why is he playing a replay, I wonder? That's weird. That is weird. That is really weird. Yeah, I think it must have just grazed the cue ball. Anyway, it looked like a bug for a second or two there, but I think that's what actually happened. That object ball grazed the cue ball on the way back, in which case it wasn't a clean bank, which is within, as far as the rules of the game go, it has to be a clean bank. You can't bank a ball and it hits a ball and goes into a corner pocket or whatever pocket you've called. You can't do anything like that. It has to be pure and clean. I mean, what the cue ball contacts after you've made the bank doesn't matter. But likewise, the object ball, it has to go in clean. It just looked a bit weird there until you actually see it on the replay. But what it does mean is we have acero with the slender lead. Is that acero into the lead in the first time in this match? Who knows, but it might be. Well, this would be a tight bank to bank this 3-ball up and down into that corner. I mean, there is very little to no room to do that. So the safety played by Bankster brings the 2-ball back onto the spot. Is this going to have enough room to cut across this 5-ball? This is right on the knuckle as well, this 5-ball. You know, onto that spot there. Yeah, that was extremely ambitious, to say the least, that he was ever going to pull off that shot. But I think he might have sold out a few banks here, though. Acero's being brave, but look at what he could be giving up here. But Bankster can't take advantage of it. Two-ball gets nailed. And again, at first glance, there isn't an awful lot more waiting here. There is the cut across for the 3 into this side. There's room to do that. Oh, that looks nice. It's just going to catch the point again. The 1-ball definitely up and down, 100%. And the cue ball stays up that end of the table. You might be able to manufacture something else. The 3-ball may well go off the point here up the table. He tried to cut back. Where's the cue ball going? Oh, this could be a fatal shot by Bankster. He goes back to 0. Acero on 2. And he's got 2 free choices as to where he goes here. The only thing that's helping Bankster slightly is that we've got these 2 balls in the stack, and Acero does need at least one other ball for a bank. And that cue ball's ran away. Now, is he going to take on the 1-ball right now? Because that 1-ball will certainly cut across off the rail into this corner. He's drawn more to the 3-ball, which he might be playing into the corner here. Well, Bankster may well have expected more punishment from his last visit, and he's sort of got away with it. And acero's left him an open 3-ball, which again was nowhere near the line. Well, now there's absolutely nothing on here other than a cutback on this 3-ball up into the top left as we look. He could call it as a double bank, but he hasn't done it, so he's calling it into that top left on screen. He gave it a fair chance with the pace, but not quite the line. Well, there's definitely a cut across available in the 6-ball. You'd have to blast this 3-ball if you were going to try and do something similar, I think. The cue ball's going to be running all over the place. Oh, well, that was a great effort. A great effort. I thought he would have had to hit that harder than that, but actually I think he was pretty good in his judgment, just a fraction offline. Well, a 3-ball cross side. Well, he's going to go 2 rails. He's called it into the top corner, so he's going 2 rails, double bank. Once again, clearly very difficult to pick out because he was nowhere near it. And there is the up and down for Bankster to try and get off the mark here in this 5th rack. And it's just held its line. Well, there's a little bit of disturbance in those balls up in the corner, but there's really nothing happening there other than the 8-ball waiting to go in and come back into the stack there. Well, he went for the crossover. I thought he was maybe contemplating a 3-railer there on that 3-ball into the top left-hand corner. There's certainly a 2-railer available, and there's also a crossover into that corner available. But Bankster's more interested in just bringing a ball up into the stack, and that gets the 8-ball spotted. And he's not really left a great deal on. Very little, in fact. Well, that almost worked. Would that have been a clean bank? I think that almost worked. Yeah. He almost pulled it off. Watch the cue ball. Oh, that cue ball sitting right on the knuckle, is it? No. So the 9-ball is now dead in the pocket. 8-ball, cross corner. Where's the cue ball going? It stays alive. There's a cutback 3-ball into the pocket that the cue ball's sitting at. There's also a bank into the side on that 1-ball. And that has just squirted open. Gone to the rail way too soon. But the bad news for Bankster is it's all hard work for him. He's trailing 4-0. Acero, the hot favourite now in this rack, to get to the hill with a 3-2 lead if he can. It would be a big turnaround for bankster to get out of jail in this rack. You just feel that one wrong shot with a cue ball and he's given up the rack pretty much. He might have just done it now because this 3 ball looks favourite for up and down. And that's a beautiful line. Cue ball rattles in the jaws but stays in the table, and in it goes. And it's acero that is on the hill, leading by 3 racks to 2 in this race to 4. And a sweet little bank seals the deal for rack number 5. Bankster's break gives him nothing, except he's given up the 2 ball straight away. If he can see it, he might, yeah, he certainly can see it. So acero can be off and running immediately here. And there's other banks waiting to be played out here. Oh, again, you know, not quite a gimme, but, you know, not far off at that 2 ball. Well, 9 ball. It looks the nominated ball to me into this corner. So cue ball's just gone a wee bit too far. A wee bit too far. If he'd finished, you know, sort of there, he would have the 3 ball fairly comfortable up and down. 5 ball into the corner, is it? Yeah, but again, not finding the line. Well, Bankster needs to get a toehold in this rack to survive. He's not got much room to squeeze this in, but he's done it. Where's the cue ball going? The cue ball stays in the table. Now that 4 ball's off the rail. He can cut that back. I mean, it's by no means a certainty, that 4 ball, but I don't think he's really got a great deal else on. He's finally going to play it. Once again, it's just gone to the rail too soon. Well, it's just the pace that kept that one out. So it's now dead in the pocket, as is the 7 ball. Well, you can pot the 7 ball and just, you know, land that cue ball on top of the 1, but I think he might have given up the 4 ball here. He hasn't got it tucked away behind the 1, and that was a bad mistake there. And that's not opening out. Maybe needed to be played a wee bit firmer. But what do I know? But what I do know is look at where the cue ball's finished. Bankster's got nothing simple here. He might be looking at the 5 ball past the 1 as a possibility into this corner here. He might be looking at that because I think that's the only line he's really got from there. Yeah. Now, once again, this could be a costly one where he's left the cue ball. 8 ball bank across past the 2 into this left corner. But acero's picked a line that does not exist for that bank. Way off the mark there. And that in turn could be a big mistake from acero. The only thing that's guarding him is that 3-ball blocking that pocket up there. You've got to really get the cue ball down here to have any chance of banking something. He's certainly got the cue ball up there. And he has the slight lead in the rack that Bankster must get to take this match all the way into a final rack decider. Now again, in the blink of an eye, this match could be over, but that cue ball's gone too far to the right. He really needed to keep that a bit more central in the table, the cue ball. Now, again, what's he doing? A thin cut across into this corner. Oh, that's a great effort, and it's dropped. What a great shot. Where's the cue ball gone, though? The cue ball's gone in. 2 balls come back up. Acero loses a point. He goes back to 1. And Bankster has a free go at this 1 ball. And he blasts it in. But I think that is it. I don't think he's going to get anything else. He might just pot the 3 and bring it up into the stack. Oh, he went for the cutback on the 4. What's he giving up here? Well, this 4 ball looks difficult. It looks there isn't a lot of room to play that off the short rail into this corner. That might be what he's trying, though. This will be a good shot. If he can find the spot. There's not much room to get that ball in, and that is beautiful. That is absolutely superb. To me, that's the bank of the day. And folk might look at that, who bank, and say, no, that was very easy. It looked bloody difficult to me to find that little spot next to the 5 ball. That's a brilliant bank. And even Bankster liked it. That's how good a bank it was. I know nothing about banks, but I know a pretty damn good one when I see one, and that was it. That was a very fine margin to get that object ball into that spot next to the 5. Well, Bankster has a free go at this 5 ball, which will take him on to 4. Oh, it's done everything but gone in again. And this rack and this match is on a knife edge, especially for survival for both players, because you're out on the 1 loss side. Once you get another defeat, you are gone. And acero might be biting the bullet here and going for the crossover. And he has done. Now he has to worry about where the cue ball's finishing. And let's just say it could have finished a lot worse than this. I don't think he's left much at all here. Is there a possible crossover? I think Bankster's having a sniff here. He's having a little sniff at this 2 ball possibility, but he doesn't fancy it. There might be enough room, but he's not interested, and maybe he has got better common sense than I have. I thought there might have been enough room to squeeze that in the back of that 8 ball there. And acero having a blast in this 2 ball up and down, is he? Or is it the 5? Looks like the 2. And what damage is he going to do? Well, whatever he's left for Bankster, nothing is easy here. He might have the cut across in the 8 ball. He certainly does. It's all about getting the cue ball out of the way. And now he's having second thoughts. Or maybe not. Well, he is having second thoughts. Now those 2 balls have gone in. They're up into the stack. But again, he's given a free shot to acero here. He could be going both ways. He could be cutting across into the top corner. He could be cutting across up and down. I'm not even sure where he's going yet. He's going up and down, but the cue ball's gone south. And bankster, well, it's going to be ball in hand, clearly. A ball comes up into the stack. Acero goes back to 1, and bankster has a free bank to get to the hill in this rack. It will take him to 4, but he needs 1 more. And is he going to get crazy and try and break something out here? Well, I'm not sure whether he tried to or not, but he can certainly see enough of this 4 ball, I think, to have a go at a crossover. No, he's not interested. He's not prepared to take the risk. Why should he when he's now sitting, needing just 1 mistake from Acero to take this match all the way? He's got himself into a strong spot here, and bankster doesn't want to do anything stupid. Oh, welcome to Bedhead. Are you talking about the 2 at the back of the stack there, Bedhead? I'm not sure how soon you actually typed that, because I thought the cut across was on. Now, this up and down in the 3 ball, the cut across, but you've got to think about where this cue ball's going to end up. I mean, this cue ball could end up breaking up these balls and leaving a bank on. And that's not getting there. And that was a pretty much all or nothing shot there from Acero. But whatever he has left, there is nothing easy at all here. Yes, you can cut across the 3 ball. You could try the... in fact, he's not even... Again, bankster's just not prepared to take the risk. And again, I keep saying, why should he? I mean, they're all lined up. All the onus is on Acero to be aggressive. He's 4-1 down in the rack. And he's simply just got to let... He's got to let the guns go to try and survive in the rack. He knows that 1 mistake and he's lost the rack anyway, but, you know, sometimes you've just got to bite that bullet and have a go. Well, that's going to be a missed call. Or, in fact, the game will automatically call it because it collided with another ball anyway. Now, the assumption is he called the 3-railer there. Or was it a 4-railer? I've lost count. I lost count after 2. Well, here's 1 half-decent chance for bankster to take it all the way. I presume he's going up and down into this corner. No, he's gone multiple rails here. Oh, this will be some shot. That is some shot if he's called that. Wow. I mean, at the pace he's played it, he's got to have caught. That's got to be what he's called. And look at the ball. It's dead in the pocket pretty much. What an effort that was. And this looks a good line also for this 8 ball. And Acero's coming back. He's not going to get a heck of a lot else, though, it has to be said. And he certainly doesn't want to leave the cue ball up that end of the table. He's got to be a bit clever here. Well, he's going for the cut across. I think he's deciding he's going to go hell for leather here. It's all or nothing. Send that 5 across to the long rail. Sneak in the back of the 4 ball. And it's nowhere near it. Well, what do you do here, bankster? You cannot turn down a go at cutting this 5 ball back. Again, if he starts potting this, he's got to get the cue ball well away from there. Now, has he covered everything? The ball comes back up into the spot. I don't think that Acero can see enough of the 5 ball to do anything with it. It looks tight. I mean, he could try spinning that. It's too far away, though. I think the distance is too far. He's went for the cutback and he's nailed it. Oh, now things get very interesting and scary if you're bankster. 1 more good bank And we're hill all the way here in this rack. Oh, that's got the hit off the 4. And what damage has that done? And at first glance, not a great deal. I mean, there is a multiple rail shot on in the 5. A sort of cock hat double into the side, is there? Oh no, that's too high up, is it? Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. I don't know that that'll be the line into that side pocket. Is he going cross table? Will he ever get the cue ball out the way to play that shot? No, I think he got a double kiss. Oh dear. Oh dear. What disaster's that going to give Bankster? Well, first of all, it puts him back in 3. And secondly, there are balls there to be banked. And this could be game, set, and match. It could be hasta la vista time and sayonara. As far as Bankster's concerned, that could be fatal. And Bankster had his chance. And there goes the 1 ball. And what's his favoured choice here? Because the 5 ball's nowhere near sitting perfect for a bank. And the crossover on the 4 looks favourite. So this for the match. And acero's going to pick Bankster's pocket here by the look of it. And there it goes. Well, what a turnaround there. That fatal move by Bankster. He lost the point. And acero took full advantage of it. And he gets the win. It could have went all the way. But well done to acero. He had the nerve to hold the nerve and get what he needed to pinch that match there in the end. It's a 4-2 win, but it was a lot closer than that. It really could have went all the way. So now we know where we stand on the 1-loss side, and we'll do a quick refresh if we can get this to work. Well, it's still not gone through from the. Oh, it has went through. There we go. So Bedhead, going to be a tough one against acero. That again could be a toss of a coin on the day. Any of those 2 guys could win that. And well, we're not sure what's happening on the bottom half of the 1-loss side because, as I said earlier, and if you weren't here earlier, the problem we have on the winner's side is that Stubb has been in communication in terms of sending proposals to Coldest Pillow, but Coldest Pillow has not replied and has not been around in Virtual Pool 4 for about 3 or 4 days, and the deadline is tomorrow for this match. So between now and the next 24 hours, if nothing happens, Stubb is going to get advanced and he will play One Pocket Slim in the hot seat match to get to the final. And of course, Coldest Pillow will end up going over to the 1-loss side, and it may well be, for all we know, that Albinario might just get advanced to the quarter-final match. The way it's looking at the moment, that might be the case. So that is it, folks. It was an enjoyable match. It was run close, but it was acero that edged through in the end. He was the favourite as far as I was concerned before the match started, but he's had a little bit of a scare this afternoon, so he can go to bed and dwell on it and look forward to his next match. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you again very soon, whenever that might be. And when it will be, I do not know. Take care, and see you later, folks.